I have a dream of being an engineer. I have a dream of being a fighter. I have a dream of being a scientist. I have a dream of being a police officer. I had a dream of being a teacher. I have a dream to be a doctor. I have a dream of being a football player.
Wow.
Praise the Lord, everybody. At this time, we will have a short skit called The Dreamer. Leroy Mazel Smith was born July 14, 1927, on an Arkansas bridge in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, during the Great Mississippi River flood. He was delivered by a midwife and was on that bridge for 4 days before his birth was documented and recorded. His parents were David Willie and Nellie Mae Lyle Smith. His mother, who cared for him, and his 2 siblings left school at the age of 13. Leroy Mazel Smith was the son of a logger and a farmer. Smith grew up picking cotton with his grandfather, who taught him the value of hard work and perseverance. He graduated from high school in Fordyce, Arkansas, at the age of 16.
Congratulations.
While in school, Smith took pre-flight aeronautical classes. He rode the bus from Camp Robinson, very scared boy, to Shepherd Field, Texas for basic training, then to Chinook, Arkansas for engine training. Leroy wanted to be a doctor, but the military said they needed black mechanics, so he was inducted into the U.S. Army Air Corps at the age of 16. When he got there, everything was segregated. The ride to training,
Colors go to the back of the bus.
the barracks he lived in for African Americans were dilapidated, and separate from the whites. The hours he had to shop at the base exchange, blacks could not shop along with the whites. The times he ate at the mess hall were separate. Blacks were not allowed in the mess hall while whites were eating. White people asked the black airmen,
"What you doing here, boy?"
white people always assumed that if they were black, they had to be cooks and bottle washers. Smith did not let discrimination and segregation break his spirit. He charged forward and met every obstacle with faith and optimism. He leaned on his Baptist upbringing and his grandfather's lessons about having strength during the harder days. Smith enjoyed spending time with other airmen. Sometimes he would say, "My granddaddy told me to trust in God and be strong, no matter what happens. He told me that some people are ignorant and someday things will get better. My granddaddy always said there's only one race of people, the human race." So the entire human race was focused on World War II at this time, and Smith was assigned to the Tuskegee Institute, Tuskegee unit, where all the barriers fell away. He was no longer a black mechanic. He was simply an airman. Smith was scared and proud when he arrived in Italy. He was with an all-black crew that he could identify with. He could communicate with the pilots. The officers respected him as a younger member. He didn't have to just do his job and shut his mouth. He had a good relationship with them. Smith loved being called the Tuskegee Airmen. The Tuskegee Airmen were typically known as an all-black fighter, bomber, pilot aircrew who fought in World War II. However, that name Tuskegee Airmen also included navigators, mechanics, instructors, crew chefs, nurses, cooks, and other support personnel for the air crew. Smith always said how much he loved being an airman. He had a lot of unit pride. Now the crew was assigned to the 332nd Fighter Group and flew heavy bomber escort missions with P-47 Thunderbolts and later the P-51 Mustangs. To distinguish themselves, they painted the tails of their airplanes red. They were called Red Tails. He always said, "We never lost a bomber. We never lost a plane. We were good." In 1947, Smith's tour with the Tuskegee Airmen ended, but the Red Tails legend influenced the integration of races in the armed forces. Now, Smith transitioned from the Army Air Corps to the Air Force. He continued serving throughout the Korean and Vietnam War, fulfilling 25 years in the Air Force and retiring in 1968 as a Master Sergeant. At the age of 52, Smith trained to be a Pine Bluff policeman. He was the oldest rookie in the history of the Pine Bluff Police Department. He held jobs at Walmart, at the prison, in the prison system, the State Department, from which he also retired. Later on in life, Leroy married the love of his life, Miss Everlina Foots, on July 11, 2013. They were happily married. Leroy's favorite saying was, "Engage your mind before you operate your mouth."
Wow.
Thank you. This is the end of our presentation.
punch. Miss Smith, I want you to stand so that they can see you. They're changing their outfits. Okay. But I want them to see you because we have, you want to meet you? Mayor Washington, we want you back up here, Mayor Washington.
Pastor Wright, go escort you back up there. I sent him after you. I knew you were obey a man of the cloak. Amen. But I want them to see you, Miss Smith. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. We do appreciate you coming, and we just thank all of our guests for coming. We have other guests. I have my baby sister back there in the back, my sister-in-law, and we have Brother Tony's wife. Where's Brother Tony's wife? Raise your hand over there. Brother Tony Raymond's wife. And we have Marcia Morris, I think, back there. She was in service with us on this morning. And we just thank God for all of our guests. Are all the youth back in the house? Anybody out there in the foyer? I want you all to see. Come up. Can you
Just come, I want them to see you. This is the widow of Mr. Sergeant Master Leroy Marzell Smith. Come on up here. I want them to see you. But we strive to bring in history into Hope Apostolic Faith Ministries. Would you like to have something to say? No? She told me she was not a speaker.
I'm a behind-the-scenes worker. I like to work for the Lord behind the scenes. But I just want to thank you guys. It's been very enlightening. I enjoyed this with the children.
That's all right. Just take your time.
But I wish he would have been able to be here to see this, and how the children honored him. But I'm glad that somebody, finally recognized him because he was a quiet man. He was a very, very good man. He married the wife before me, had 10 children when he married her. He had to be a good man, to marry somebody with 10 children already. But he was a good man, and thank you guys so very much for what you're doing and honoring him. Thank you very much.
I thank God for all the ones that work with the youth, and especially Sister Pat. I have to kind of give her where we're going, and she takes it from there. She does the skits, and they work with the kids. Sister Annie, where's Sister Tabitha? Did she have to do the work? Okay, back there. We have lots of heroes in the ministry. And like I say, a lot of people, they try to get Black history out of books. But we try to bring, and it was my desire for him to be here. But the Lord knows. And, because he always gives me, they say, well, how do you know who to honor? I don't. The Lord give them to me every year, And so, and I thank God for the ones that work, without a vision, the people perish.